Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome to our old-fashioned reality check right here on Rolling Out. Reality check started with conversations with reality stars on what was happening on their particular season. And tonight's guest is coming off of, I think, one of the most toxic seasons of Real Housewives of Potomac. But she got in there. She did her thing. She's an amazing woman, and I'm excited to hear what she has to say about her season, her first season in Potomac. Please help me welcome the very beautiful Nneka Ehem. Hi, Nneka.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know, we had a chance to talk to you earlier in the season. And this is like when it was first announced that you were going to be joining Potomac. And so that was a great time. I think you had your dog and he was there, and I've got my little dog. It was cute.
Yes.
But after this season, first of all, I just want to say as a fan and a viewer of Potomac, I feel like you need kind of a do-over. You kind of got thrown into a crazy season because all the ladies were so, such at odds. I feel like anyone coming in your position was kind of just up against a really difficult, environment. Did you feel that way at all?
Well, thank you for saying that. I do feel that way. I do feel that there was just so much chaos, so much tension, a lot of fractured relationships. The ladies didn't really know what direction their situations were going in. And then there's me that is just being shuffled in while trying to work out these 3-year feuds.
Yeah. And I think that because of that, anyone in your position was going to be used as like, you got to either come on this side and be against this person. Like, it was just, there's some long-standing, very, very negative relationships there. And so I want to just, talk to you a little bit more about how that felt. But let's go back a little bit into your background, because we knew that you had obviously very successful, married. You have like the perfect setup for what would seem to be a great addition to Potomac. And obviously, as it was pointed out when you were crowned, you actually were in Potomac. So maybe more suited to be there than some of the other ladies on camera.
You said it, not me, but continue.
Well, it was just on demographics alone. But what was it about the show? Because Andy talked about this in the reunion, that they wanted you to come on. They were trying to figure out which way would make it feel most, authentic. What was it about this show and the opportunity that appealed to you initially?
I, just like you said, my background, I fit the profile, and I'm a very open book. I'm a very social person. I'm a girl's girl. And just moving from Los Angeles to the Maryland area, I was excited to meet new people. My husband, he's a Marylander. He moved there at 14 years old from Nigeria. So he's lived there for over 20 years. And that's where they consider home in the US. Okay. And so, I was coming in from LA, and I'm like, okay, well, this is a pre-vetted group of individuals, all respectful and successful in their own right. I was happy to dive in and meet people and also showcase my life. I've worked very hard. My husband has as well. We do very well for ourselves. And, just getting our home together, newly married in a sense, first time we're actually living together, trying to get pregnant. And just our brands as well, me as an attorney, him as a traveling doctor, him as a lounge owner. We have a lot going on. And we're excited to show the world about success, working hard. You can have the best of both worlds. You can live this lifestyle by just working hard. You can be a mother, you can be an attorney, you can juggle it all and still have a fabulous, fun, luxurious life.
Okay. Well, it's funny because when we first came on, I was like, well, that's like the updated version of like the Cosby Show. It's like, the doctor and the lawyer, right? And that together. But we also, just from learning a little bit about the Nigerian culture through Wendy, it seems like hard work is a very big part of what you guys pride yourselves on, and what is a part of just the overall culture. So how did you all become these, very successful, very driven young couple? How did that start?
Just like you mentioned, in our culture, education is key. They have a very traditional mindset of doctor, lawyer, engineer, nursing. They really value education, academics. So just at birth, we
Yeah.
know that we have to get a degree, not a regular degree. You have to get a doctorate degree. They instill in that us. They instill that in us at an
Mhm.
early age, and we just go with it. We go with it in a sense because that's where our parents and our people who've raised us have found success.
Mhm.
Not that there can't be success in the entertainment world. They haven't achieved success that way, so they don't want to break the mold. So they inspire and motivate us to pursue the academic route.
Something that we know is stable and secure, and it has a clear pathway. With entertainment, sometimes the journey can be like, all over the place.
Exactly. Zigzag, honey.
Yeah, absolutely. But an attorney, you know where that's going to come from. Did
Mhm.
you ever feel, have you ever felt, even before you got married and became a wife, just as an academic and then an attorney, and living up to understanding what was basically expected from you? Did you ever feel pressure? Have you ever felt pressure to, so much that you have to make sure that you live up to these standards, or has that always been something that felt natural for you?
Absolutely. I've always felt pressure, and especially me because I grew up very much like goody two shoes.
Okay.
I followed the rules in our household. My parents said, come home at 9 p.m. I was home at 9 p.m. They said, clean your room, do your laundry. I would clean my room. I was just that child.
Yeah.
And so I always wanted to follow the path that was set out for me.
Mhm.
I don't think I have any regrets. I am a licensed attorney. I went to law school. That's not something that I believe I initially wanted for myself. It was something that was presented to me, and, options and different things I can do with this degree was explained to me. And I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And also I've always had a big interest in journalism, and a lot of the big journalists that I admired at that time all had law degrees. So I'm like, well, this is something I'm not going to go wrong with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's interesting because we see just African American women of color, period. There's a lot of pressure that is put on us, and that I think we put on ourselves. And we see that even on the show, specifically in seasons past, we see Wendy doing all these things and then getting overwhelmed, not feeling like she had a place to really relax. How do you balance it? How do you keep from becoming like overwhelmed and getting to a point where you're not necessarily enjoying life because you are doing so much? What is Nneka's way of like relaxing and being able to like take some time for herself?
I've been someone that just go, 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 think I can handle it all and do it all. And
Mhm.
most recently, in the past couple of years, I've learned to take time for myself and to, cater to mental stability and mental peace. And
Mhm.
so that will be me booking a spa day at the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
That could be me calling my girlfriends and saying, hey, let's have some dinner. Let's try this new restaurant. Or my girlfriends, we like to travel. I'll go travel with my girlfriends. Or my husband will do like a little staycation somewhere.
Mhm.
Just getting into a space where you're not thinking about other things and obligations and deadlines and expectations and emails, just a
Mhm.
space where you can be creative, a space where you can be free. And that's incredibly material to keeping your sanity and actually producing good work products in the fields that you're working in.
Very true. Very true. Very true. You actually are going to get higher productivity when you're in a good space, specifically when it comes to
Mhm.
mental health. So I definitely appreciate you for saying that, because I think that has not been something that's been a part of the conversation until
Mhm.
recently, and we see so many women experiencing burnout or not
Yes.
taking that time, and then they have to do it, and at that point, they're in a bad place. Um,
Mhm.
so obviously, you're living this fabulous life. It definitely makes sense to take an opportunity to join a cast that's in the area that you're going to be moving to. What did you know about the ladies prior to coming on the show? Had you watched the show? Or we know that there's some history with Wendy, which we'll get into, and that's been talked about at length. But as far as just the show, had you familiarized yourself with the other characters and the other ladies and things that were going on the show prior to joining?
Not really, to be honest. When it comes to Housewives, I will say that I used to watch Real Housewives of Orange County when I was in college,
Mhm.
but I never, what I mean? Like I never really dabbled into, much, but I would see commercials and previews and, whatever.
Mhm.
I didn't really know the ladies well in terms of their background, or as you call them, their characters, because some of them are characters, I will say
Freudian
so.
slip, yeah, Freudian slip.
Yeah, so I didn't know too much. I didn't know too much.
Yeah. Okay. So coming on, I mean, big issue that happens that has been talked about in Potomac specifically, which is really sad to me, but because it's such a contention point, and it's also something that we've dealt with in the African American community. The African community is colorism, right?
Mhm.
And that topic has not, it just will not go away when it comes to this cast. There was a lot of I guess, outlandish accusations made against production, and even Andy Cohen himself saying that people were playing favoritisms to Giselle and Robin because of their skin color. It's been a very toxic conversation, but also one that does have merit because it affects a lot of people, and a lot of people see it different ways. So you coming into the cast and probably hearing that, after joining, what was your perspective watching? Because we noticed that that's been talked about on every reunion, but even this reunion past, the idea of favoritism due to colorism continues to be a theme. So what is your perspective on that? And do you think that really does play out within the group?
Yeah, when I first confirmed I was going to join the group, I did hear about the colorism issues because, people are speaking about that. They're writing about it. Mm-hmm. And I came in prepared. I was like, my eyes are wide open. I need to make sure that it's not going to be impacting me.
Right.
And I personally, and maybe it's because it's my first season, I personally didn't experience anything that identified as colorism.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone was treated differently than me. And that's not to say that the other women who have alleged it, that their circumstances aren't true and that those things didn't occur with them. But as for me, I haven't experienced it or witnessed it in my time period. Okay. But my eyes, again, are wide open.
Yeah.
And if I see any injustices, I will speak up.
So as far as like even the dynamic within the ladies, that has not been what you've seen from your interaction, because your interaction with Giselle, with Robin, and also with Candace. Do you feel like, from what you've seen just as an outsider looking in, that there is a difference with them as far as their dynamic, or is that just what you feel like their personal experiences outside of what you've experienced have been?
Well, I'm also coming in at a time where a lot of people have a lot of issues, longstanding issues with each other. Right. So I'm not really witnessing normal interactions because you're upset with someone. So how they're treating them might also be just, how they feel about them, considering the disputes that they've been in. Right. So I don't know if, some of these things are just, I don't like you, and this is why I'm talking to you like this, or I'm treating you like that. Or if it is colorism, I didn't identify it as that. Anything that I did see, I attribute it to the status of their relationship.
Right. Right. That's fair. And that's an objective stance, so I appreciate that as well. Thank you guys for watching. We have a live chat going on. Thank you, private person. We are live today with Nneka talking about Real Housewives of Potomac and just the ish show. the reunion. Colorism is a huge topic on the show, and I think that I appreciate Nneka having her own perspective and and speaking out from her own personal what she was able to see, and not necessarily joining because of team this versus team that, which is always a negative place. Coming into the show initially, you were automatically Robin, I feel like, automatically weaponized you against Wendy, and I don't even think it was because she had an issue. I feel like on this show, this is just my personal opinion, a lot of times a storyline, your storyline consists of making sure that you're doing something to stay valid and relevant, right? And making sure that you're doing something that is going to be a little dramatic. And so I think I told you when you first came, I felt like she just used, she threw you in under the bus just to make sure that there was mess happening. And
unfortunately, so you said Robin, do you mean Ashley?
Ashley, I'm sorry. Ashley.
It's like Robin was trying to create peace.
Yeah, Robin was trying to create peace and get out of the middle of it. Yeah, Ashley. And I think that was because Ashley didn't really have anything going on in her own. So she didn't really have a dog in the fight, but it made for a very dramatic thing, and actually made the relationship between you and Wendy, I think, even worse.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that. Do you feel like, when looking back and even seeing at the reunion, Andy and others did confront Ashley about why she did that, and seeing that you and Wendy were never able to get to a good place, how do you feel about the way that it was that it started, right? And then the fact that you guys still are at this place where it doesn't look like there's an opportunity to reconcile?
Well, I will speak for myself. I feel like I am in a good place. I have owned up to my own wrongdoings, which I would do for anybody. And I have sincerely apologized. I don't know what else could be expected from me. In terms of the confrontation with Andy and Ashley at the reunion and Wendy at the reunion, I do think Ashley kind of skated out of that. She got herself out of that little issue, and, everyone else was dealing with the aftermath of what she did and what she caused. Still to this day, I don't think she provided an explanation as to why she felt the need to make up something, right? Because there's two issues here. Why are you bringing it to the table? And then the second issue, why are you misrepresenting what I said?
Right.
I don't think we got any clear answers on that. She has apologized profusely on camera and off camera. And I think she's going to just have to hopefully have learned her lesson. But that's one strike in my book for sure.
Yeah. Obviously, you do understand that for the viewer, seeing two women that come from the same culture, talking about something that I love the fact that you guys address it. It's not something that is a very sensitive thing, and it's also very sacred. Like, we don't want to have these conversations in company and speak about them in a way that's disrespectful or even ignorant, right? So how difficult was it for you to come on here with another Igbo sister and to have this constant, like, it's like the show pitted you two against each other? Even if you weren't going to be friends, it definitely created a storyline that was like these two, beautiful women that really we want to see be friends that are unfortunately, going at each other for the benefit of the rest of the show.
Well, I think it was very unfortunate because, one, that was actually not my storyline at all. I have a lot of things that were on the cutting room floor as a result of this. And again, I suffered the consequences for all of this stuff, the article, the misrepresentation of what I said, the phone calls. I am the one who suffered for all of those things, yet I'm not really, didn't ask for any of these phone calls, nor did I ask for any misrepresentations from Ashley. Yeah. I've said it a million times. I actually think it's very sad that these topics had to play out on TV. But then, I signed my life away to be displaying my life and what's going on. And unfortunately, those things were happening at that time.
Yeah.
Well, damned if I do, damned if I don't, right? If I don't talk about it and there's some weird interactions, y'all would be like, what's going on with her? Why? What's their issue? Whatever. And then you guys would put me in the Robin bucket where I'm not fully showing my life. I'm hiding things in X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And as a Nigerian myself, we are prideful people. We are proud of ourselves. We are proud of our accomplishments. We're proud to be in a space where we get a national viewing, where we can watch us on Bravo TV. And that's not how we want to represent ourselves. So I completely understand. And then even watching it back myself, I was like,
yeah,
it's not the best, but that's what was happening. That was what was happening, and none of which I asked for.
Yeah. Well, I think Cassius says it's definitely unfortunate. She definitely could have shined this season. And I think that's true. I think, like, I would have liked to see you guys, you and your husband, obviously young couple coming together. It definitely could have been very different. I will say, just staying in that vein, a lot of people feel like reality TV is where relationships go to die, right? We see so many of the relationships on the show have dismantled because of the show. Well, not even necessarily because of the show, but at least during their time on the show. It appears that with the reunion, it looks like Mia and her husband Gordon are going through divorce, and we see Robin has consistently had issues with her husband on the show, and I'm sure that's very embarrassing for her. What is your perspective on that? And how did you and your husband Nneka kind of discuss the relationship and how you guys were going to navigate making sure that you stayed close and stayed connected in the face of a cast that can be very, very intrusive, in relationships sometimes?
In terms of my marriage, I feel like I'm going to use the word unfortunate throughout when talking about my season. Unfortunate that my husband and I had some really great moments, some great date nights, some regular couple stuff. And those things weren't really shown or highlighted. Instead, different moments of bickering or frustration or points of contention were highlighted. And, again, those things haven't really impacted our marriage, because we are a young couple. We are working on ourselves, forever going to be working on ourselves, right? Because you always want to improve and be the best, best husband or wife that you possibly can be. I don't think the show in itself will have the ability to destroy our marriage, because we focus on each other. not necessarily outside things. So
Yeah.
any of the women meddling in or any of the men meddling into our relationship won't really be able to penetrate.
Yeah, I think that's a true topic. I mean, that's a true statement. I don't think the show, but I think it does add fuel to the fire, right? If there's already
If there's issues, right? If you already don't trust your spouse and then someone's whispering this, it can cause you to now be, a little bit more insecure, or cause you to start rummaging through text messages or logging on to email accounts. But if you already don't have those issues, you're content in your relationship, you're
Right.
confident in your partner, then whatever someone else is saying isn't going to matter unless they got some receipts.
Yeah.
So get the receipts.
Get the receipts. Well, so there were a lot of receipts thrown around. And because this reunion was just, it was difficult to watch, as someone that does like to see Black women in a positive space, seeing allegations and people throwing things back and forth. Just your perspective as an outsider with the situation with Robin, like we mentioned, or you mentioned earlier, her inability to be authentic seasons prior, right? It kind of spilled over into this season. And I think people don't feel like they ever really had her own up to what was happening in her life. But that's understandable because what she was dealing with was very difficult. Looking at that situation and seeing how it played out, and all the women had something to say. It was we talked about it at the reunion. You guys discussed. Andy said, "Well, who believes Juan?" And Robin said that she still believed that Juan had not cheated and all these things. Where do you think that it was fair that the rest of the cast kind of weighed in on that, seeing as she's made the decision to believe her husband? Or do you feel like, because as you said, when you sign up, you kind of, you open yourself up to a conversation, you open yourself up to being authentic and being transparent when it does come to your marriage. So where do you stand in that situation? Because I think Robin specifically this season felt very attacked and felt like no one really was supporting her. But I also feel like she was not really honest, and I think that was.
She honestly believes her husband. So I don't think that she was frustrated and didn't receive support. I think everyone supports her. Robin is a wonderful person. She's a great friend. She actually called me and texted me earlier today. Like, I like Robin. Okay. I think maybe if she was frustrated at all, she never told me she was frustrated, but we can tell from, her reactions and things that she said. I think she's frustrated that nobody else maybe believes the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But we still support and love her, Yeah. It's not for us to decide what she should do in her marriage. As long as she got the facts, she make her own decision. We can just tell you that makes sense, that don't make sense, and then the rest is up to you.
Right. That's true. I think I meant last season she wasn't honest because she kept the fact that she was dealing with her marital issues to herself. Okay. And then she also did enter into the conversation about Candace and Candace's husband and the situation with Giselle. What do you think about that situation? Just seeing the fact that the two of them are at such odds. To me, that caused the entire season to be kind of off, because when you guys would have events and go places, it was almost like Candace would be on one side and Giselle would be on the other. And then there was this big elephant in the middle of where the fact that Giselle did accuse Candace's husband of sexual assault. That is a huge accusation. And I don't know very many women that would have been okay hanging out with someone that made that type of accusation about their husband.
Yeah, I don't know if Giselle accused him of sexual assault. And I'm saying this because of what she described happened, right? She said that he asked her to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. They went to a private room. He closed the door and she was uncomfortable in that space.
Right.
And that's what I believe that she has said repeatedly has happened. So with those facts, she didn't say he said anything. She didn't say he touched her. She didn't say he prevented her from leaving. You know, so that sexual assault word is very dangerous. So I don't think that we should use that lightly. Yeah. I mean, I can understand viewers saying, what business does Robin have? You didn't tell us anything last season. And then now you're coming guns a-blazing for Candace. Mm-hmm. And Candace's issue, I believe, also didn't happen while we were filming. Right. And I think that's what Robin had stated, that her issue didn't happen while filming, but it impacted a decision, I guess, their marriage, which was part of filming. And that was a major hurdle for them. So it shouldn't be disclosed. I actually 100% understand that, because if you're talking about the delay in the marriage, anything that's causing a delay, whether we know about it or not, should be revealed. You know, as she mentioned, she's not going to throw her husband under the bus for any entertainment.
Right.
And Candace said she don't know what anybody's talking about with these screenshots, any dick pic or nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, their tension that you saw this season and the tension between Giselle, I really wish that they could have worked it out or at least had productive conversations. And I think that's what was really lacking, is that everyone has so much built up hurt.
Yeah.
The conversation was not productive.
Right.
And I think that some people could have taken more ownership early on, but someone's waiting for the other person to own something before that person can own something. And then you end up really nowhere. And it caused a lot of divide.
It did. Actually, there was this moment, and I was really hoping for a different result. There's a moment in the reunion where Andy says, does anybody want to say anything? Does anyone want to take accountability or own up? And everybody just sits there like, no, we're fine. We're fine.
You know what, though? I did take accountability and I apologize. So,
yeah.
And I did in that reunion as well. I did. So,
yeah. Well, as I say, you kind of were put in a bad position because you were the new person. And I think that like you said, the other issues were so long-standing and there was so much hurt behind them. With Wendy, do you feel like you did everything within your power to resolve the issue that you guys had that seemed to continue to snowball from, I don't really know you, I do know you, we said this is said, it's a lot of, and even when it was acknowledged that Ashley was not telling the truth, I really was hoping at that point you guys would be able to see, okay, this is some BS. They're trying to pit us against each other. Do you feel like on your perspective, you did everything that you could to make the relationship better, or at least put it in a positive space? Well,
I mean, I have an open heart. I invited her for conversation to discuss issues, to see how we can communicate effectively and, you know, apologize where needed, take ownership and accountability where needed. I initiated a lot of opportunities to kind of reconcile and discuss. And again, at the reunion, I'm taking responsibility for the names that I may have called her. And I genuinely mean that, because there's no point in my adult life to be offering apologies that are empty. I don't have to, you know? So I did mean that. And I don't know what else. And I think Andy also asked as well. He said, Nneka has taken accountability and apologized for these things. What more do you need?
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have heard what more she needed so I can offer that.
Well, that did not happen. At least it did not happen today or at the reunion, this past reunion. What do you think your biggest, even though obviously there were things in the season that you did not, you know, that you wished would have made the edits that wouldn't have gotten left on the editing floor. What was the most, what was the best experience for you during the season? Like, what did you enjoy the most? What were those points for you that you were like, this was worth, you know, taking this chance and being a part of this cast?
Honestly, I'll say the ladies. Like I said, I'm a girl's girl. I love people and I love genuine connections. And I feel like all of the ladies really were open to me. They adopted me and brought me right on in. And they've been kind and respectful. And, you know, they've really just been good people to the extent that we spend time together off camera while not filming. And I really do value good relationships and strong relationships, and most importantly, sisterhood.
Nice. Outside of, you mentioned Robin that you talked to, who do you think you're the closest to amongst the cast?
I talk to Ashley a lot. I talk to Charisse probably every day.
Nice.
Mia's my boo. She's literally like, I don't even have enough words to describe how amazing Mia is. I love her very dearly. And I do talk to Robin and Giselle. You know, I'll call them or text them about things, and they've always been available, always been open, and we all have a great time when we're together.
Nice. Well, I love that, because Mia is definitely a little different. She's a firecracker.
That's how we really connected, because we both have a "this is who I am" attitude. Yes. Like me or love me, love it or leave it, whatever. This is who we are.
Yeah, she does. And I think that was needed in Potomac. I think the viewers appreciated that, because there was all this, you know, very, very tongue in cheek, and this is the way things. And Mia's like, look, I'm here. I'm going to be honest. And she takes accountability immediately. Like she's funny. You know what I mean? She adds a lot. She adds a very different vibe to the show that I think was needed. I also love hearing you say you talked to Charisse, because that was one of the issues that I had with the show. I feel like Karen and Charisse's issue was just silly to me. Like,
what is the issue? Because I still don't know.
it just seems like Karen doesn't like her. That's what it's. That's
The issue is, I don't like you.
I determine it. Like Karen just doesn't like her, and she's not gonna. They both are these powerful women that were kind of were there in the beginning. I hate seeing that. I honestly hate that Giselle and Candace, because I think these are people the audience really has a relationship with and wants to see move forward. What were your feelings when you learned that Robin made an announcement that she was not coming back, and that it was not because she wanted to, her and the network parted ways? She was, in essence, fired. What did you think about when you heard her just be honest about the ending of her time on Potomac?
I'm not surprised. That's Robin. Robin is a very open book. She's very honest. She's straightforward, straight shooter. Robin's not going to sugarcoat anything. She's not going to lie to paint a different picture. She's going to keep it all the way 100. So I was not surprised that she said that.
Well, that's good. I mean, I really do. I was hoping that the viewers would get a chance to see Robin really like take her power and take the situation and grow from it. But I think that there's not a closed door. There also were reports that you're not coming back next season. Can you confirm or deny those reports that came out today on social media?
Yeah. You know what? You guys have to follow me.
Okay.
And stay tuned for, news, updates, whatever I got going on.
Okay. Well, we definitely will do that. We also know you announced that you guys are on your IVF journey, and learning that Candace and her husband are expecting was a beautiful, just, some good news with the reunion. Are you excited about this journey? What are you looking forward to? Why is it so important for you at this point to, become a mom?
Well, I will say just quickly on Candace, I was very happy to see that she made that announcement and that she is pregnant, because she and I have talked a lot about that during the season, and we joked about being bump buddies. We be pregnant at the same time, and have to coordinate our baby showers so they're not on the same date. So I'm very happy to see that she and Chris are expanding their family, and I know she's gonna have a beautiful, wonderful baby, and she's gonna be the best, most loving mother. So I'm very happy for her. Yeah, in terms of my IVF journey, and I hope I even remember the question you asked. In terms of my IVF,
just tell us how you feel about it. I mean, it's a very emotional journey, but it also is one that's obviously very rewarding. But why is now the right time for you guys to embark on it?
We're just a lot more settled, and I'm a lot more mentally settled and focused on family. There was a period of time when I was, traveling a lot, learning and just exploring things, and more so focused on myself and career and businesses. And I still am, but I'm willing to slow down a bit just to, grow and develop and foster this family. And, the timing just feels very right. And it's unfortunate that the timing is right, but the biology is not right. So, this IVF journey has been very, a lot of highs and lows.
Yeah.
I've just been on, I think at this point, I've had 2 IUI procedures that failed.
Okay.
I had 1 IVF procedure that had to be canceled midway. So I was already doing all the injections, stuffing myself with all these hormones. We had to cancel that. I had a second IVF procedure that failed. So that we went through with that. It didn't work out. And now I'm on my 3rd round of IVF. And to say that I'm exhausted is an understatement. I feel like I have been through everything, and I've just been on so many drugs for the past 10 months.
Yeah.
And I just feel like sometimes a zombie, sometimes emotional, and just like all the side effects, all the ways that these drugs and hormones impact you. I wasn't prepared for that. So women, we are really a superhuman. And I just thank God for the strength to even continue doing this. And I'm just grateful and optimistic that it will all lead in praise or end in praise.
It will. It absolutely will. We believe that for you and your husband. How has he been supportive to you? Because I know that it's so much that you have to take into your body, but seeing the 2 of you guys interact in the small ways that we were able to see that, even the way he, speaks immediately when you're speaking, he was there he's just watching you. The interaction at the reunion is like they are in sync. You can tell that you guys are really in sync. How has he been a great support system to you through this? And, how are you guys working together to make sure that you are okay and keep each other as the priority?
I think mostly what he does is comfort me and lets me know that it's not my fault. Everything's going to work out, and, just hang in there. And I think just someone letting you know that they see you and they see what you're going through and they love you even more. And that you didn't cause this, but you're still doing whatever it takes for us to get the end result.
Yeah, that is beautiful. What lessons, if any, did you learn about yourself? I would imagine watching yourself over, you know, a 6 to 10 week period on television probably has to be an experience, you know. So what did you learn about yourself that you would take forward after watching yourself this season?
I would say certainly when you're in this whole field and space, even if you're telling the truth, you have to be careful because your story isn't told by you. You know, so I think I've just learned on how to better navigate your story.
Yeah, that's good. Let me ask you this. What about from your parents? What did you take, I guess, like one of those 1 or 2 nuggets that you took from your parents that you can't wait to share with your baby when you guys are expecting that bundle of joy? What are something that you want to pass down as a part of your legacy that you got from your parents?
I think just encouragement. You know, my parents have always been big supporters. You know, when I was in college, when I was in law school, when I thought like I was never going to survive something or I was going to fail this exam, anything big or small, they always were saying to me, do your best.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that really motivated me more because it relieved a lot of the pressure. So I want my child to always know, just do your best. It doesn't matter what the result is, just do your best.
Yeah. All right. Well, last question. You know, and with that, there are a lot of young women out here that watch our channel and that maybe, you know, see you as a success story, right? You've got the husband working on the baby, you've got the career, you've got the lifestyle. What words of encouragement can you share, you know, with our audience on how to keep pushing forward, even through those times when you may feel discouraged or you may feel tired or you may feel overwhelmed? You know, what is has been your secret to your success to get you where you are today?
You know what? I've always been able to push through because I mentally envision myself where I want to be. And that's what's always kept me going. I can give up, but then I'm not where I'm aspiring to go. So I always picture myself, oh, when I get this, oh, when I arrive here, oh, when I get this result, how am I going to feel? You know what I mean? So I would use that to push me to actually achieve, accomplish, and obtain those things.
Yeah. Well, envisioning something is definitely a key that a lot of successful people have mentioned. So we appreciate you sharing that. Let people know where they can keep up with you so they can find out where you're going to be next and what's coming up next for Nneka.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, and my name is IMNNEKA. And also, I'm on Twitter. I've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and I'm feeling good about it. So my first and last name on Twitter. So Nneka Ehem.
All right. We'll definitely make sure that we're following you. Hopefully, we can have you come back and share as things move forward in your life. And we look forward to keeping up with you. Thank you so much for being a great example. And again, like I said, as a viewer, I apologize. And I really feel like you deserve a do-over someplace. You know, I don't know if it's Potomac or someplace else, but I think the audience would love to get to know a little bit more about you, would love to see more of you on this journey without all the drama that you walked into this season on Potomac. But thank you so much for hanging out with us, Nneka.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.
You too. Take care.
All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. Yes, this conversation was live. I saw a lot of people in the chat asking, was this a live conversation? It absolutely was a live conversation. And we appreciate you guys hanging out. Make sure that you tune in on Wednesday because we have a conversation with Vanessa from Ready to Love. This is going to be one of our final conversations. You don't want to miss that. As always, we love you for watching, and we'll see you right here the next time on Rolling Out.